Hey guys, it's the great and powerful mystery here. Just wanted to say before we get rocking and rolling into this season finale, me and Jay don't think any of you guys should go legend tripping. It can be very dangerous. But if you guys do decide on your own to go to any of these locations, remember to follow state and local laws, respect private and public property, and just treat the whole area with respect and dignity it deserves. All right. Let's get on to the show, guys. I got stuff for you.
Holy moly. I need to get some snakes and release them around my house.
But they love eating people. They love eating kids.
These guys are the scientists of the supernatural, lecturers leaving lessons for inquiring laymen. They are applying the scientific method to a world that baffles science. They are the cryptids of the corn.
Every day that you open your mouth,
I know, right?
I'm more convinced that you're abducted by aliens.
No.
And it just stood up. I mean, it just like kept going and going. And she goes, what the?
These are idiots.
I was laughing reading this because I already knew how you would feel.
Idiot. What part of the story fits your balloon?
Well,
This isn't a UFO. But who else has big black wings and red eyes?
Batman.
Well, Mothman.
Oh, yeah, Mothman.
Well, everyone, I think we know exactly what it is. So say it all with me. It was the sandhill crane.
Would you try it?
No.
You wouldn't eat it?
No.
Why?
Because they're probably toxic. There'd be a lot of poop in my pants. Seen a 6-foot alligator go swinging through the air and slam into a tree. Welcome back to Cruising Podcast. I'm the great and powerful Mystery.
And I'm Jay Clone 6. Season 6 finale, Jay Clone.
And it's part
Gosh, 5?
5.
Okay.
You almost said 6.
I about did, yeah. It's like that. What rhymes with, I don't know. I'm dead.
Good
or
talk,
say
babe.
dead, say red, and then what's a 5-letter word you put in, all right, gosh
Are
dang
you
it.
having a stroke?
What's the word? What is it? Oh, no, what rhymes with most, ghost? What's a 5-letter word you put in the toaster?
Bread.
Bread. Yeah, that's a trick, not toast.
Are you having a stroke?
I think so. It's been a long morning.
I mean, you can put toast in the toaster, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if you want burnt toast.
Or dust double toasted.
Yeah, double toast.
Mm-hmm.
I've never double toasted toast.
I haven't either. All right, that's what we call a cold open.
Yeah, wasn't ready for that.
Season 6 finale. Thank you guys. Part
Yes.
5.
We're back.
Remember, we don't think you guys should be going to any of these spots, but if you do on your own volition, be cautious, be careful, follow state and local laws, and all that stuff you heard in the beginning.
Right. Just be conscious about it.
Yeah.
What
don't
you're
get yourself
doing.
hurt.
Right.
So we're in Louisiana now. Okay?
Louisiana.
What's the capital?
Wait, no. Is it? Yeah, Baton Rouge.
You think it's
Baton
Baton
Rouge.
Rouge? It's not.
It's not? Yeah, it is.
This one it starts with New.
No, it's not New Orleans. It's
Baton
Baton Rouge.
Rouge.
Yeah.
What's the? Do you remember the letters for it?
Louisiana?
Mm-hmm.
L.A.?
Yeah. Makes no sense.
It's the first and last.
What's the creature? The weird thing? What makes you think of Louisiana?
Oh, yeah. Is the Rougarou down there?
That's the one I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The Rougarou. Why, though? I guess it's the only Cajun French sounding one, too.
Yeah. No, it's Creole, Cajun, which are different. Those are different cultures.
Creole or Creole?
Creole,
Okay.
not krill. I like the shrimp.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
No, Creole.
Oh, a little krill,
Creole.
colony down there.
Creole.
Oh, they eat krill.
They probably do.
Hmm.
I've seen them eat a lot of everything.
Sounds good if whales like it.
I mean, it's just little shrimp. I'm sure it tastes.
Sounds pretty good, like
sure it
fairy
tastes
shrimp.
like little popcorn shrimp.
Are krill ocean fairy shrimp?
No,
Oh, okay.
fairy shrimp aren't shrimp.
Oh, they're not? What's in a name then?
What's nothing? Oh my gosh.
Okay, Louisiana.
Dumbest
Louisiana.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the Grunch, not the Grinch.
The Grunch?
The Grunch.
Oh, I love that name.
It is a terrifying entity that calls Louisiana home.
Oh my gosh.
But why it made it into this Hometown Legends kind of series is because there's a specific place that people go to see the Grunch.
Okay.
It's kind of one of these cryptid monster creatures that can be seen all over Louisiana, but it has a specific place.
Is it on top of a mountain in a cave?
No.
Okay.
Staring at the who's.
Right, yeah.
So this article that I'm going to use for this is by Joseph Sherwood. It should come no surprise that Louisiana has more urban legends than most states. Have you ever been to Louisiana? You can see every nook and cranny is dark and swampy. I mean, if you go out I've been out in the bayous of Louisiana and Arkansas, and you can everything's alive.
Okay.
So if you don't know what's out there, all these little noises,
Yeah.
there's monsters everywhere.
No, I believe it.
Raccoons are one that gets people a lot because they'll swim in these cypress trees, and then they'll sit on the side of a tree. So then it looks like there's a 20-foot tall, glowing-eyed monster
Eyes just peering out from behind it. Yeah.
But the terrain in Louisiana is full of dense, dark bayous capable of holding immense secrets. Mixture of Creole and voodoo influences on Louisiana culture have given the state and its people an entirely unique culture. And I'll add for me, inside of Louisiana has several incredibly unique cultures.
Mm-hmm.
Creole and Cajuns are not the same thing. I'm not great at explaining the differences. There are cultural differences, especially, I cannot remember. I'm really bad about this. One had a lot more tragic past. And so it's important to know that they are very unique to Louisiana, but very different people.
Okay.
Truly, if magic exists in the United States, it's probably in Louisiana. If you visit New Orleans or one of the other mostly like the ghost cities, like if you go to New Orleans on a ghost tour, it's like every brick is a voodoo shop or a haunting.
Every brick is haunted.
Yeah. That brick's haunted by St. Pierre.
Right, yeah.
However, there aren't any tour guides that will tell you about the Grunch.
I'm looking forward to this one.
I can't tell you how many times people, like if you Google the Grunch, the first 2 pages will be
The Grinch. Yeah.
It's not the Grunch. It's not the Grinch.
It's just a hard one to find, huh?
I mean, if you just go to Google, go ahead and click page 4, then you'll get Grunch stuff. I guess there's information out there about this. It's known. It's just it's just so closely spelled to Grinch.
It's smothered by the Grinch.
Yeah. Louisiana legend. So if you're wondering whether or not it's misspelled the Grinch, it's not the fuzzy green Dr. Seuss character. It's entirely different and a little bit more sinister entity. It's kind of like the Grinch at the beginning, not the end.
Okay.
But the Grunch is a deadly beast, often compared to
The Grinch?
the Chupacabra
Oh, okay.
in the versions of the story. However, in other versions, the term is referred to a half-human living outside of New Orleans has resorted to cannibalism as a result of the deal with the devil. This is kind of like Louisiana's Jersey Devil.
Oh, okay.
Very weird monster. So the description sound a bit outrageous to you. Just wait, the legend of the Grunch gets even more awful and absurd. Plus, there's more variations of the story depending on where you go or who's telling the tale. But in this article, they're going to attempt to get the legend down of Louisiana's Grunch as best as they can. Yeah, so this is definitely one that has taken on a life of its own, has historic roots. But every little coffee shop, every little restaurant, if you ask about the Grunch, you'll get everything from a human gator hybrid, like a big albino human gator, to a goat monster, to things that are much more akin to like the Jersey Devil or a goat man, to just like a severely burnt man.
So is it like a hodgepodge of things or what?
Now, we could talk about that here in the end.
Okay.
So whether it's a dangerous beast, the Grunch, is a chupacabra-like devil dog or cannibalistic half-human monster, their name is from the road where they were seen most often.
Grunch Road?
Grunch Road. However, if you do a quick Google search for Grunch Road, New Orleans, you won't find any results. It is believed there was once a real Grunch Road somewhere in the city of New Orleans, but it was made of shells from Mississippi River in the Gulf of Mexico, or in dirt from the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of America.
Yeah, come on, get the times right.
I don't care. I really just don't care. Either way.
Then it just showed none of it matters.
Yeah, it shows none of it matters. I mean, yeah. However, I heard a comedian say this. Now I got to say it.
What?
That why it should stay in the Gulf of Mexico is because it sounds much more tropical.
Yeah, it does.
Like if you visit the Gulf of Mexico, it's like, I went to the Gulf of Mexico for vacation. Even if it's just Florida.
Right, sounds nice.
Yeah, if you say, I went to the Gulf of America, it sounds like you were...
Yeah.
You went to a Costco down there? Like,
right.
I like the Gulf of Mexico. But like I said, I really don't care. However, there's been some disputes about whether the legendary road is located. Plus, many believe that since it was paid over and renamed. So we'll talk about actually some of the roads it could be here at the end.
Okay.
Because I looked into it a little more. There's a couple roads that they say it is now, but it was originally a seashell road, which was a common way that they would make roads out of that crushed shells.
Which is awesome, yeah. We're just losing things like that.
Yeah. So some believe the Grunch Road is now known as Gunnin' Road, which is just, it's just a normal road. It has a little bit of woods neighborhood in New Orleans. So back in the day when the Grunch legend started, it was swampy, bayou-y land. Now the Grunch Road, if it's this Gunnin' Road, is like suburbs, a little bit of woods, nice homes, that kind of stuff. It's just a road.
Yeah.
The Grunch has probably moved out because they drained his home.
Oh, okay. They drained that swamp?
Yeah, they filled it in. So that's one spot. Today, there are fairly urban and hard places for a monster like this to hide in. Gun Road isn't far from Bayou Savage National Refuge. It's a giant natural area that could easily conceal some various beasts. So there is a giant national park kind of in the area, a couple miles away. And it is open to visitors and that kind of stuff. But it is Louisiana. Don't get off the trail.
No, don't wander too far off.
I've been in the swamps in Louisiana, Arkansas, and kicked gators on accident.
Oops.
So the Grunch, what is the Grunch? Like I said, it depends on who you ask. Some people say the Grunch is similar to the North American chupacabra, described as a dog-like being with like reptilian features, with a scaly skin, naked skin, an alligator-like head. Monster said to have glowing red eyes, far away. You can see far away night. It's known for its blood-sucking of animals. Although, unlike the chupacabra, it only does this from a single hole, implying the beast has a round mouth or a circular set of teeth.
Like a cookie cutter shark.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or like a big mosquito proboscis.
Oh.
Or like a lamprey.
Oh, okay.
There's all kinds of animals that have a circular mouth that suck blood.
Right,
It makes more sense than fangs doing it.
That leaves just one hole behind
Because vampire bats don't even do that. They
don't
scrape and lick.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know that. Yep.
Dracula from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy taught us all that. Dracula don't suck blood. Dracula scrape and lick.
Sometimes it works.
Due to New Orleans' proximity to Mexico, it's possible the legend of the Grunch is simply a variation of the chupacabra legend brought up from Mexican natives. So it's just talking about this, where there's a huge cultural mix in Louisiana. If any state in this country you could say is a melting pot of cultures, Louisiana is probably the one I'd put as the top. Everything from French and then French Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
To Haitian, to Native Mexican, to Native American stuff, to white, like the white settler culture. There's just this humongous hodgepodge.
Yeah.
And so it all gets blended together, and that's how maybe you get monsters like the Grunch, to where they may all be separate entities being called the Grunch.
All under one umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where to the Native Mexican people, the chupacabra like being as the Grunch.
Mm-hmm.
To the other, the Native American people in the area, this alligator human deity is the Grunch.
Mm-hmm. But I wonder if it's like something shape-shifting or something that takes on the form of what that culture people are expecting to see.
So no matter who you ask, the Grunch is said to have human capabilities, such as opening doors and using tools and standing on its hind legs if it's in animal form. So the second you said that,
Oh, okay.
like, you're right.
Oh.
That is a great possibility. A southern deep-fried skinwalker.
There you go. Yeah. Oh.
Some said the beast is even able to pass through walls. On top of that, Grunch is said to have a strong stench, not uncommonly associated with the Bigfoots in the area. Some even said that it has wings like a bat and can fly around, like our good friend the Jersey Devil.
It is like a mix of everything.
And it's, like I said, it really is heavily depending on who you ask.
Mm-hmm. But then again, those people might just be seeing actually different things.
Yeah, wait till you hear the next thing.
I mean, I almost imagine they are if they're completely different, unless it's just separate entities that they're seeing.
Coffee cup banging.
That's a little.
That
rough
was
one.
me. I shouldn't have used a metal straw in a metal coffee cup.
Yeah, that's an oversight.
An oversight. So there isn't really much of where the Grunch came from, but there is kind of one big suggestion.
Okay.
Now, this is from this article, so anybody that's super into like voodoo culture,
the voodoo,
or like Louisiana history or anything like that, if this is wrong, please write an email, but just know this isn't my resource. This is the man I named at the beginning, his article about it,
Okay.
because it's the best one I found that pieced everything together.
Gotcha.
But he goes into it saying Mary Laveau was a famous New Orleans herbalist in the 1800s, often referred to as the Voodoo Queen.
Laveau?
Laveau, is that Laveeau?
Yeah, Laveau.
Laveau, which I heard her name in many of everything from ghost podcasts and story podcasts. She was a very known lady in her area.
Her name pops up a lot in the paranormal.
As the story goes, Laveau began looking after a deformed child. It became known as the Devil Baby,
Nice.
Jersey Devil.
Right. Yeah. Mrs.
Some
Leeds.
believe the Devil Baby was Laveau's own child, which others say she just simply took care of it out of pity or love or whatever. It depends on who you talk to again.
Right. Yeah.
You know, this is 150 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Game of telephone. Things get watered down, changed.
In an attempt to stop the baby from reproducing, she cut off the Devil Baby's testicles. Then, quite surprisingly, the two testicles turned into a male and female grunch,
Wonderful. So she made the kid a eunuch?
both of which attempted to kill Laveau, and they nearly succeeded. These two creatures then escaped into the woods near the Grunch Road. Even today, anyone who is bitten by one of these creatures is said to become a Grunch themselves.
Oh my gosh.
So this story, the Grunch is a monster
Testicles.
made from the testicles cut off of a devil baby, like the Jersey Devil.
Wonderful.
But if you remember, though,
I don't want to get bit by
so
that.
these testicles, like they were said to like rapidly become these monsters.
Right. Yeah.
So you remember the Jersey Devil started as a normal baby and instantly
Flew away.
started becoming a monster and got big, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. Like when we talk about folklore from across the country, these common threads that speak out.
Right. Yeah.
And this is one of those. You know, I'm comparing the Jersey Devil a lot, but there are other devil babies in North America. This is just the one that the Jersey Devil's like the famous one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So there's another legend with the Grunch as a cannibalistic tribe. So another follow through. I mean, we've
With,
mentioned
like,
cannibals 4 or 5 times already.
Wendigos and whatever.
I'm just talking about these hometown legends saying, oh, there's cannibals out there.
Oh, yeah. Like the white.
But there's tons of cannibalistic stories in North America.
Oh, for sure.
So the entirely different version of the legend is the Grunch is referred to a term of deformed humans like the Mongoloids in Ohio that are cannibals that live out there that are creation of the devil. Like I said, that's not what happened. There's no such. I don't. Is mongoloid a disease, or is that just a thing that they would call people with like hypercephaly?
I think it's just a term, yeah. But I think it was even not just people with that. I think it was like
any
autistic,
deformity?
yeah, or like Down syndrome or anything where it's just not
Not deformity. Any genetic or disease
disorder, yeah,
or anything like that.
I think that's what
Physically that you could see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the same thing here. That they just started calling them cannibals. They also said that there were albinos and dwarfs mixed in them.
Man, okay.
It just
That seems to pop up a lot though with a lot of these.
Now I have a theory with this,
Okay.
and I'll come back to this. But the story goes these banished people became the Grunch. I kind of think that this story may be true, except the face of it, the base of it. That there may have been people actually with dwarfism and maybe even actual albinos and other people mixed in living in the swamp out here. And they made these scary stories. They act like Grunches to keep people away from their camps.
I could see that. Scare them off.
Because this is a time where like they were catching people with these diseases and putting on display.
Yeah.
They would sell people with dwarfism
Yeah.
in the 1800s.
That's so bad.
So I kind of have a theory that this part of the Grunch legend may be true.
I
Kind
could
of.
see that. I could see that.
To where these people with dwarfism, these people that may have been albinos, and other groups that were just deemed social outcasts of the 1800s,
Yeah.
were living out here in this swamp area and would put on like scary ooga booga, to scare mask of, to keep people away from their areas.
Right. Yeah. To keep them away from them, preserve
Yeah.
themselves, so people weren't messing with them.
Yeah. And it's not good because some of the humans in the area became just kind of hunt Grunches and they burnt one up.
They burn a Grunch up.
Yeah, which is probably just a human with a deformity.
Yeah, probably.
And then they said that in other words, a burned Grunch that would be seen in the area. Yeah.
That's not good.
So the Grunch sightings. And then we'll move on to our next state. Like I said, tons of sightings in the area. if people saying everything that they will try to kidnap you, they'll run you off. Any person that slowed down too much on the road, they would try to catch you and drain your blood and drink it. But this is very similar to a lot of these stories with these people that may actually be living out there. It just seemed like they were trying to scare kids off, scare people away from their area.
Yeah.
Nobody ever got ripped out of a car. Nobody ever got ripped out of a buggy.
Right. It's not that or land between the legs type of situation.
Yeah, where there's a kid ripped in, just
pieces.
Oh, and we gave the warning for the last 4 episodes, but again, anybody listening, a lot of these legends deal with a lot of sensitive subjects, which is just American folklore. But there's tons of sightings all the way back. Another group of sightings, though, resurfaced just after Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, okay.
So some attribute the fact that Hurricane Katrina displaced the Grunch from their homes, forcing them to be out in the open more.
No, if it was real, if it was actual just people and not some supernatural legend, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Even if they are, like what we talk about, some of these, let's say they are creatures, not people. Even if a lot of these cryptids, I feel, these paranormal beings, have moved into the shadows more in modern day.
Mm-hmm.
So they may have even got displaced by Hurricane Katrina, which, put most of Louisiana under feet of water.
Oh, I know. It was horrible.
I mean, there's still, if you watch the new season of Kitchen Nightmares,
there's still
the first 6 episodes are just Louisiana.
Yeah.
To get ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And all of them, it was Hurricane Katrina is what destroyed their lives.
Yeah. It did. It was absolutely devastating. We didn't do anything that helped those people.
No, I mean, there's still, how many years ago was that?
2008, if I'm not mistaken.
So, quick math.
15, 17 years ago?
Yeah. And there are still people suffering from the fallout of that event.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. But yeah, so if these are, halfway in, halfway out supernatural beings, that I highly could see that disrupting them.
Oh, yeah.
So there's also the fact that many animals were injured during the hurricane. Alligators became extremely displaced as well, hiding in people's houses during the hurricane. You ever seen the videos of the alligators in the houses?
I think so. Was there a video of someone like upstairs and they're filming down their stairs and you see an alligator swim by?
A bunch of alligators, yeah. Because it was shelter. They were just trying to they were just doing the same thing people were doing. Because there was a little bit of dramatization about that they were trying to eat the people in the houses.
Right.
I mean, they're alligators. They'll do whatever they're going to do.
2005, sorry.
2005.
I was off. So
20 years ago. They'll do whatever they're going to do. But they were hiding in the houses because it was scary.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just alligators.
It's a freaking hurricane outside. What do you expect?
A horrible hurricane. I mean, these animals, survived a lot, but they're just like, we're going to cuddle in here too.
Right, yeah.
So still New Orleans is a place of mystery. Like I said, Grunch Road, we don't even know where the original road is. There are roads that people say. If you ask everybody, it's kind of a different road today. There's that nature preserve out back. The Grunch is just one of these mysterious things. There's horror books with the Grunch in it. There's actually one of the podcasts, Camp Monsters, I listen to. If anybody likes a story-driven cryptid podcast, it's very fun. Me and Emily like it a lot. They had a Grunch episode, and they did the big white alligator human one. Very creepy. Because it has people hands.
Oh, okay.
There's just something weird about an animal that's not supposed to have people hands.
Right, yeah.
Having people hands.
Like the, what's that thing in Japan in the water? The ninjin.
Oh, gosh. That wasn't in Japan, but it was filmed by Japanese.
Right, something
either
like
whalers
that.
Or something like that.
I don't remember, but it was scary.
Because it just means human.
Ninjin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's another word for human or person.
Not human water ninja?
No.
Okay.
But no, because that's the weird thing. Like, if you translate, I think it just means like human, but in other words mean different things. But yeah, so that's the Grunch. What'd you think of the Grunch?
I don't know. I kind of think it's either shape-shifting stuff, or it could be just people. It could just be people, like you said.
I kind of think it's just people.
Yeah.
Or at least it started as just people.
Yeah.
And we kind of talk about that these legends get passed down. Like, we literally, it's not funny, but we have a road that's called Mongoloid Road here, and that's just
like the unofficial name.
I mean, yeah, it's not the real name, but it's just from 80 years ago, because my dad's dad was telling the story.
Yeah.
So it's been around forever that there was, unfortunately, what probably happened was there was probably a person that lived there with a disability.
Yeah.
That teenagers in the 50s or 40s made jokes about, and it just stuck.
Yeah, because I remember we heard about it when we were in high school.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. People used to drive out there.
My dad would drive us down.
Yeah.
And he'd stop in the road and be like, "Oh, they're gonna come get us."
Right. Yeah, exactly. Which is just ridiculous to think about. I don't know. That road is really weird, though.
It's one of the.
It's a really weird road for around our place. Because I remember I found it. I remember always hearing about it in high school and stuff, but I'd never actually been there or drove down it or seen it. But I first discovered it recently within the past like few years.
And I just have a devil tree at the end of the cemetery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've told you that before.
Okay, I don't remember that part.
That cemetery right there at the beginning of the road?
Yep.
There's a devil tree on it.
Because I remember I was driving down there because I was going down to my friend's house to go to his pond, and I cut across the road that road runs into, and I seen it there, and it's just in a weird spot. So I'm like, I'm going to go down this road just because it's weird. And then it's got that weird bend in it and turn, and there's the one patch of woods you have to drive through on it. It is just strange, and there's only that one house on it. I don't know. It's weird.
There's 2 houses. There's one back in the woods.
Huh?
Yes.
Well, there's no driveway.
No, it's from the other way.
Oh, so it's not even on that road, though.
No, it's like a mile-long driveway.
Oh, okay.
It's closest to that road. I don't think they could get a lease to put a
driveway on that road.
An
Oh, wow.
Lease, yeah.
Oh, an easement. Yeah. Okay. Understood.
Because that's why our driveway was when we lived in the country, was so weird and long.
Because of
the easement lease.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with the people around us. It
No.
just is, what you got to do to make it work for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It just, it's just what happens.
Yep.
So easement leases cause roads to look sometimes
Funky.
really weird. And you get a mile-long driveway.
Right. Exactly.
All right, next state.
Next state.
Mississippi.
Ooh, Mississippi.
The hardest state for a dyslexic kid to spell.
Ooh, that must mean I'm not dyslexic, huh?
Yeah, because I don't even know what. Yeah, see, it's only got 4 letters in it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or does it only have 3? No, 4.
4.
But it's just a lot of them.
Yes.
So what's the capital?
Mississippi.
This is one that I wouldn't know, but the second you say it, I'm like, yeah, I know that.
Mississippi. I should know this. Man, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh,
Montgomery. That's Alabama.
so this is the second one you've gotten wrong. I'm gonna count this as a wrong one because
Mississippi.
you couldn't get it.
I don't remember.
Jackson.
Jackson.
Like I said, this is one that.
I'm going to Jackson.
This is one I would be like, I have no idea. But when you say it, you're like, yeah, I knew
Jackson, Mississippi. I did know that.
So this is Nash Road. A lot of roads.
Ooh, Nash.
And I try to avoid roads a lot. I try to mix it up.
Whirl. Nash. If anyone got that reference.
So this article is from Daniela D. Regenera.
Okay.
This is the article. I'm just giving credit.
Oh, okay.
Don't drive down the haunted street in Mississippi, or you may regret it. It's Nash Road, Mississippi, in Columbus, Mississippi. It's known for a legend of a 3-legged lady who haunts the road.
Tripodero.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's not that, is it?
No,
Okay.
it's not. This is kind of one of those Hamburger Man things.
Oh, okay.
The name's a lot funnier than the actual story.
Gotcha.
But once I seen that there is a 3-legged ghost.
Woman. 3-legged ghost woman.
Yeah. I'm like, that has to make it. So most of the hauntings in Mississippi are linked to historic homes of the past. There are plenty of other sites in the state that are believed to be a bit spooky as well. Some places like Nash Road in Lowndes County, Mississippi. For years, there have been locals who have told story on the Lonely Toucher Road of a 3-legged woman who is believed to be a local ghost that caused the road home. Nash Road, which has become known as 3-Legged Lady Road, is located in Columbus, Mississippi. According to local legends, there are several stories associated with the haunting of the roadway. One of the versions of the haunting of the roadway tells of a young girl who was kidnapped, dismembered. Her body parts were thrown into the woods that line the road. According to this legend, the girl's mother was searching for her daughter in desperation and was only able to find a leg. Completely distraught, the mother carried the leg up and down the road looking for her daughter.
Oh, so that's where the 3rd leg comes from.
Yeah, the ghost isn't three-legged.
Three-legged, yeah.
The ghost is holding a leg.
That makes more sense.
Like I said, it's like a Hamburger Man thing.
Right, yeah.
Where it's like, Hamburger Man. Like, he turns people into hamburger.
Makes more sense.
It goes from comical to sad.
Yeah.
Some believe that the haunting can trace its back to an old church that was located on Nash Road. It said that when the church was no longer in use, a satanic cult began using it for human sacrifices. According to several witnesses, motorists who stopped at the church would turn on their headlights and honk their horns 3 times to entice the three-legged monstrosity to make an appearance. First, she'd knock on the roof of the car and then race the driver to the end of the road, hitting the car with her body the entire time, ramming into it.
Huh.
Very violent ghost.
Yeah, why would you want to invoke this?
Although the church has been since tore down, locals still report spotting the three-legged lady, with most paranormal activity taking place between, just some addresses, 2661 and 4548 Nash Road.
I thought you were going to say like a certain time, like during the witching hour.
No, it's just, it's mostly at night, but this could be, the thing with these ghostly apparitions, I think they're just as active during the day. I just don't think you can see them very well. It's the same thing with like our translucent creatures, the sky creatures, is that I think that they are just as active during the day. You just can't see them very well.
Maybe the sunlight, I don't know.
For ghosts or for translucent creatures?
I guess both.
I think the only reason people see them at night mostly is because the bioluminescent organs.
Okay.
And then you realize how big the rest of the thing is. Because your eye doesn't pick up on it unless you're really looking at it.
Right, yeah.
And I think ghosts are these type of entities may be the same thing, to where you are like it may be there and you may have thought it was a plastic bag in the daylight. Just because there's that little bit of a glow thing, going down the road. But at night, it produces a little bit of light.
It's something.
Yeah. So many say that the Phantom Woman will run down beside the car, trying to run it off the road. Even creepier, some have claimed to find dents in their car in handprints after the howling ordeal with the haunted road.
That's pretty scary. So that's like
she's like punching your car, ramming into it, and all kinds of stuff.
That one's like Lamb Between the Legs.
Yeah.
When it had the claw marks on was that a bus?
Yes. Whether that was real or not, we'll never know.
Will we never know?
Me and you personally?
Yeah.
I think it was real.
I think we'll know.
The one was real because there's a police report with it.
Right, yeah.
The other one you're talking about was in the 70s.
The one before it?
Yeah. The big one, the van one with the kids.
Where it chased them off.
Because I think that one, there is some college proof, because I think they did make a report with the college security officer when they got back or something like that, because they were college kids. But it's not as tangible as a triple homicide or triple murder. But yeah, so this Nash Road there's not a lot on it. It just was one that was really eerie. It's always funny-ish when you hear a three-legged ghost.
Right, yeah.
A three-legged ghost.
Really was doing a sack race?
No, she has a leg she swings around and hits things with.
Oh, okay. Wait, not a sack race. What am I thinking? Three-legged race stuff.
Yeah. Sack race.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a one-legged race.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But no, this is Nash Road for Mississippi. This one was very interesting to me. There's not a lot to it. It's just if you guys haven't at home picked up with the folklore of North America, there's these common threads that pop up a lot. And a lot of the origins are imperceivable anymore.
Yeah. Why did they come about? And then why are they all kind of, not all interwoven, but a lot of them are interwoven from around the country.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is a great example of the power of ritual. And we've talked about that when we had Zach on, about his college ghost, the motorcyclist.
The Oxford
ghost, thank you.
Apparition.
So I think there's a lot of this stuff, when you, after enough time, when kids go out and they flash their headlights at where the church used to sit, and enough people do the same thing repeatedly, that's a ritual, for everybody doesn't know, that whether there is already an entity there that they are feeding power to, or they are birthing an entity from the ritual.
Right, yeah.
What do you think?
I could go either way for me, because I think that stuff's real. I think we can manifest things as humans collectively. So it could really go either way for me.
Yeah, I don't. To me, I think this could be a residual haunting that turned into something else. like we've talked about several of the other stories in the season finale. That, it kind of starts as a residual haunting, and then, like we said, the power of ritual. They kind of, us as people, molded it into something else. Like the ghost experiments in Chicago. Like they made up, everybody didn't know. We'll do a full episode on that one day. That they did experiments. They made up a ghost at a building that had no history of hauntings and no reason to be haunted.
Right.
And they had like 5 or 6 paranormal teams, whatever. And you could say whatever about paranormal teams. I think it varies depending on the team.
Absolutely, 100%.
But they had a bunch of them come in and clarify it was not haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made up a ghost, and then the ghost manifested, and then started making up new information about itself that it was telling everybody. So they made something, whether it's a spirit or an interdimensional entity or an electronic being that took on the facade, which could be what happened here. Or that, like we said, the power of ritual birthed something into that space.
Right, yeah.
So I could kind of see that the mother story may being real, that there was a lot of, gruesome murders. There still is a lot of gruesome murders, but there's in North America. And I think those kind of things can really, really have some psionic powers and really scar the earth, maybe on an electromagnetic sphere or whatever, and really leave something behind. So enough people seeing a 3-legged ghost to then make up a ritual around it.
Right, yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
What else do you think of? We didn't ask the question. What do you think of in Mississippi when you think of...
Oh, thank you. That was the first one I really forgot. What do you think of?
I had to look it up because I can't remember the name, but I found it. It was the Windsor Ruins. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
No, I know the Windsor Hum, but that's a whole different Windsor. That's like...
There's in Mississippi, this ruins, like these pillars and stuff, but it's called the Windsor Ruins. They're just really weird and interesting. Just like a piece of history that got lost somewhere along the lines. And I think you can still go there now and check them out, but really neat place.
I think a lot of... We asked it about Arkansas, didn't we? Or did we not? We haven't done Arkansas yet, have we?
I think we did earlier. Or we talked about it on this morning on Cryptids and Coffee.
Oh, that's what I'm getting confused with.
Yeah.
Oh, so Mississippi for me is always going to be like the Mississippi River serpents.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
they're not even in Mississippi most of the time, the state of Mississippi, but just the Mississippi River itself.
Right.
Housing some of the weirdest sea monsters or serpents or dragons. There's several stories. Adam Benedict's books, Monsters in Print, has a story about this dragon that came out and fought a bull out of the Mississippi River and went back in.
Well, I mean, if any river in the U.S. is going to house something,
the biggest river in the world,
right? That goes,
and I'll argue with anybody about that.
I mean,
should be the Ohio, but that's a different argument.
Yeah, and it flows right through or over probably one of the bigger cave systems in the world.
The biggest cave system in the world.
But I mean, it's I guess charted, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that we know of.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
How big is that one in China that they just?
That is the biggest individual cavern.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
Okay.
Because it's only 11 miles long, I believe.
And then you got
the actual cathedral. It's one big cathedral, and it's
massive.
Massive. You can fit skyscrapers in it.
Fit like New York City in there, can't you?
But it's big.
Right.
But the system itself, it's a part of, isn't extraordinarily big.
Gotcha. Then what about that? Also, that other cave in Mexico they just discovered like recently that's full of like all those crystals and whatnot.
Yeah. So that was. I mean, they've known that since like the 80s.
Okay.
But they just went into it recently and filmed because they had to drain it, and they can only leave it drained for like 2 weeks because they have to refill it back up because it's super solidified
and it's super hot.
The water.
Yeah.
But that's why the crystals grew like that.
Yeah.
It's a very rare conditions.
It's awesome.
But they're super sharp.
Oh yeah.
The suits they made are more high tech than what you would need to survive on like Mars or something like that.
That's insane.
Because it's a death environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 100. I think even with the water gone, it's still like 200 degrees in there, and the crystals are like razor sharp.
Yeah.
And they're walking across basically razor blades.
Yeah.
And if you cut your suit, you're just going to boil alive in the suit.
It's really pretty though.
It's gorgeous. I mean, it's one of those places. No, so for Mississippi, I think of the Mississippi River monsters.
Okay.
It's because it's housed so many.
Oh, right.
I also think of the big paddle boats.
Oh, do you mean the big things on the back?
Yeah.
Not paddle boats, but like kind of like The motorized
What
paddle boats.
they have a special name for them.
They do. Why can't I think of it? I'm blanking. But I know what you're talking about. They got the big like watermill thing on the back.
Mhm.
Yeah, basically. I guess I never really thought about that. I just think of whenever I think of those, I think of Drop Dead Fred when he sank. Drop Dead Fred sank that girl's houseboat.
I mean, they're river boats.
Yeah, it was a riverboat. Yeah, she lived in. He sank it. She was playing pirates. All right, next state.
Okay. Pennsylvania.
Ooh, Pennsylvania, Harrisburg.
It is Harrisburg. What do you think of for Pennsylvania? There's a lot here.
Hmm.
There's only one right answer, depending on if you ask our listeners.
The Pennsylvania Dutch Amish.
As a cryptid or paranormal entity.
No, I don't know. Literally, though, when I think of Pennsylvania, my mind it just goes right there. I don't know why.
Well, we live next to Amish country too.
I know, but it's different in Pennsylvania.
It's very different, and so is the Michigan group that the cabins by.
Yeah, I think it's just driving through. If anyone's ever driven through Pennsylvania, not up and down, but left to right through it, 6 hours straight through, you hit Amish country, and it's like really, really, really pretty, but it takes forever to get through.
Gosh, should I tell our story about the Amish guy? The two Amish guys we met at the Patreon ice fishing trip?
When? This year?
Yeah.
Why don't I remember?
It was at Mill Pond.
Oh, duh.
The
Actually
first-
out fishing, yes.
Yeah, so there was a guy that was already fishing this little pond.
Mm-hmm.
That was already there, and when he was pan fishing and we were going to pike fish,
Mhm.
I went over and asked him if he cared. We put up tip ups, kind of not near him, but near him. He's like, I don't care, bud. Do whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
And he's super nice.
Yeah.
The second Amish guy that came out later, Jay had literally just cut a hole. The guy had watched Jay cut a hole, and I was walking over to put a tip up in it, and he had sat down at that hole Jay had just cut and started fishing in it.
That's whatever.
And I'm like, we offered the other guy to cut as many holes because they were using hand augers and we had a gas auger. I'll cut anybody a hole.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I don't care. Like, use it. That's what it's there for.
Right, yeah.
But that one I was literally walking to with a tip up that was baited to put into the hole. And he had sat there and started fishing that hole.
Yeah, well.
And then about 2 minutes later, when I abandoned that hole, he got up and moved. He was just kind of rude. That guy was kind of rude.
Well.
It is just funny to me that two different Amish guys, very different.
Showed up on the same spot.
All right, Pennsylvania. So did you say you didn't give the cryptid
No,
or,
I guess
or paranormal thing?
not really paranormal, no.
There's two that really come to mind for me for Pennsylvania. There's a ton. Pennsylvania's like West Virginia and Ohio. They got about 50 billion cryptids.
Gosh, why am I drawing a blank on this? Wait, we got the lamb or the Finger Lakes. What's that called?
That's New York.
Oh, that is New York, right? Dang. What is in Pennsylvania? Why am I drawing a blank? I don't know. You go.
All right, the invasion of Chestnut Ridge.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
That's a big one. Ron, our good buddy,
Yep.
is a big proponent of the invasion of Chestnut Ridge.
That's a pretty huge one.
And then Squonk.
Duh.
Idiot.
Squonkapalooza.
Yeah. Which we have news about Squonkapalooza 3. I don't think we can share publicly yet, but super excited. We are going to be there again this year. I can say at least that much. Super excited. The people put it on are great people.
Yep.
It's a fun time. Squonk's a fun thing.
Lisa and Joe.
Yeah. Cryptology and Cryptid Comforts.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, for their business names.
Right. Yeah.
But Squonk is the one that's always in my head. It's always out there. Lumberland creatures. You can take it, like, you have to understand what they are. Like, if you listen to the last episode with Tripodaro, or even the galley nippers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the galley nippers are very different than Tripodaro.
Mm-hmm.
The galley nippers probably have history.
Right. Yeah.
Real
Tangible evidence
stuff to it. And so does the Squonk. Not saying anything about the Squonk, just
they're different.
Yeah,
it's
they're
different
different.
things.
So we're going to start. This is a submission from Kenneth. And he says, "Hi guys, love the podcast. Been listening since you were on Tony's show the first time.
Oh, nice.
I'm reaching out in response to your request for local legends and lore. I'm from a small town in eastern PA known as Campton. The area is fairly remote, is very remote, and constantly filled with strange activity. I have several stories personally from the events of my childhood. Most of the local legends from this area are from a man named Scambrier. Okay. SCHAMBACHER.
Schaumburg,
Schomburg?
maybe. I'd have to see it. It's hard to spell that all in my head.
Schombacher. Schombacher. We did not pause to look up how to say it. The most popular legend is from a man named Schombacher. So he provided a link about some of the stories, and we're actually going to go into Schombacher's tavern here in a minute. The mountain known as Hawk Mountain is filled with strange activity. The house Schombacher lived in has an additional ghost story about a little blind girl who fell down the stairs into the basement. It is said that she whistles would blow. She did not know where she was, and her parents couldn't find her. Legend says you can still hear her whistling below. So she was whistling when she was laying down there.
Yeah.
To alert her parents.
Okay. It's like something
She
I
was
would
blind.
do.
Yeah. A monster. Schombacher's Tavern, a real ghost story. By Hangenbrunch.
By Hanging Bridge?
No, Hangenbrunch. It's a name.
Oh, okay.
Just saying. Pennsylvania, you got some weird last names.
I guess so. It's the Dutch.
It probably is the Dutch, and my inability to read. So this is the story of Schombacher's Tavern, which is a place I believe you can still visit to this day.
Okay.
It looks like, I don't know if it's still active, fully active tavern. I don't remember from the research because now this is 4 weeks ago that I did this. The scariest ghost stories are real ones. In fact, can be verified. Many can. But best of all, the practical stories connect the Hingham Branch and the area to Bucks County. The family has established itself. The story begins in February of 1756 amid the French and Native American War. I don't remember that.
The French and American War?
The French Indian War is what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah.
Early one morning, a group of, Lenape. Is that how you say the tribe?
Huh?
Lenape.
Len.
It's a Native American group.
I don't know.
I don't know how to say the tribe.
Lenape?
Lenape. I think that is it.
That sound right?
I think that is it.
I don't think I've ever heard of this tribe.
Emerged from the forest in the Blue Mountains in Upper County, Berks County, Pennsylvania. Allied with the French, they had an attempt on murdering colonial families living on the frontier. According to the attack, was documented by Jane Valentine Probes and Jacob Levin. I cannot omit with writing the dreadful circumstances of our township, Albany. The Indians came yesterday morning around 8 o'clock to Frederick Furner's house. He was feeding his horses. 2 Indians ran upon him, followed him into the field for 10 or 20 preaches behind him. When he escaped, he ran towards Jacob Garnett's house, designed to fetch arms. When he came near Garnett's house, he heard the cry, Lord Jesus, which made him run back towards his own house. Before he got quite home, he saw his family and his house in flames. Basically, they burned down his whole house with his family inside.
Yeah.
The brutal murder of his family and kids, his kids and his wife, haunted the region for decades. The story continued to connect the Hungenbridge family too. Like the Rendenfellers, man, there's a lot of Dutch names. The young Jacob likely sought refuge on the homestead of the Andreas and his family, located about a mile from the ravaged farms. So yeah, basically, the wars here were extremely brutal. There's a lot of death.
A lot of fighting.
Lenape lost tons of people. Sailors lost a lot. A lot of kids died in this stuff. So I'm going to skip over a lot of this. Whether the spirits of the Lenape or the unsettled children are living, many say that Jacob Garnett was never quite right after all these events. After his death in the early 1800s, George and Priscilla Ballish bought the property and used their house as a tavern. Indeed, a stone house was perfectly stopping ground points for weary travelers making their way over the summit. In the mid-1800s, the tavern changed hands once again. The new owners was Mathis and Margaret Schombacher.
Okay.
And their names would forever be associated with the property. So all that was to say that this Jacob guy, during the French Indian Wars, they killed his whole family, burned him in front of him. He killed a lot of Lenape. Like, there was just constant wars. After the fight, Jacob was just crazy. People said he was haunted by either the Lenape spirits or by the spirits of his children.
Or he just had a psychological break.
He had a break. He had PTSD of some.
Right, you watch your family and your whole house get burnt down.
So this is his tavern, and then other people had the tavern, and now the Schombachers have the tavern. So the Schombachers Tavern is located within Hawks Mountain Sanctuary on the ridge in the Blue Mountain overlook on Albany Township, Berks County. It's added as a National Registry of Historic Places in 1979. The tavern is a place shrouded in rumors, mystery, and ghost galore. So this is one you can go to. It's still there. I don't know if there's visiting hours, and because it's in like a state-ran place.
And you still don't remember if it's actually actual. It's probably not a real tavern.
No, it's not a real tavern anymore.
Okay.
I don't know if you can go in it. I know you
Gotcha.
can see it.
Okay.
I've seen tons of pictures from the outside.
Okay.
I don't know if you can go in it.
Gotcha.
But it is a historic landmark.
Oh.
Many of these were collected by the first curators of Hawk Mountain. Bringing the arrival of 1983, the Bournes started to hear disturbing voices from locals about Mathis Schombacher and his evil deeds. So apparently Mathis was really evil, and that's the Schombacher that Kenneth was talking about.
Okay.
More troubling, the Bournes, or the Bourneses, were actually living in the tavern at the time. They were living in the house. They started hearing about how evil the guy is that lived in the house before him.
Just wonderful.
One of the first stories came from the man who claimed that his father had once visited Schombacher's tavern during a terrible thunderstorm. After knocking on the door, he was greeted by a grim-looking Mathis, who pointed out to the barn where the horses could be stabled. As they approached the barn, the horses became extremely spooked and reared up in terror. The impatient man threw the reins down and entered the barn himself. That's when he saw traces of fresh blood splattered about. The man decided he was better off continuing through the storm rather than spending the night at the tavern.
So you'd rather sit outside?
Mm-hmm. You'd rather sit on the back of a horse in a rainstorm
than be in shelter.
Yeah.
A haunted shelter.
Rumors circulated about the tavern would mysteriously disappear after heading up the mountain and staying at Schombacher's tavern. The travelers would just disappear. The last place they were ever seen was Schombacher's tavern. Schombacher's tavern.
What is it? Is it like a Sweeney Todd kind of thing?
They made really good meat pies.
Yeah.
Some told that Mathis pled guests with food and drink until they could no longer stay awake. Once in deep sleep, Mathis would murder the travelers, sell their belongings for a profit. Now, I will come back to that because that did happen a lot. There are famous, I don't know about the States, but there are a bunch of them in the UK, serial killers.
That'll do that?
They did this in the 1800s.
Yeah.
They would basically, they ran, they have a room for rent. And then we did that in the States too, where you could put up a little flag and you would have a little separate guest room.
Right.
And you could use your house as a hotel for
neat.
travelers. But a lot of them would get murdered. And then they'd sell their belongings for a profit because they didn't have any local family. Keep in mind, it was way before internet, local police could talk to other places to find about missing people. So the only time a missing persons flyer would come about is if they had money, they could be looked for.
Right, yeah.
So some told that Mathis, like you said, put him in deep sleep and murder himself for profit, dispose the bodies. He'd first huck them apart. Some pieces were dumped into an old well, while others were strewn through the forest for the animals to clean. Schombacher's family, I said his name different every time I've read it.
Yep.
Found some guests more useful than others. According to one story, a hungry traveler who stopped at the tavern was served a meal of so-called old German sausage.
Okay, this is just getting a little too much.
The traveler began eating, but found the food didn't quite sit right with him. When he realized there were no pigs or livestock on the property, the man put two and two together. He figured that he might be the next traveler's meal and made a hasty escape.
Okay, so he thinks he's eating a human.
And you're like, I noticed that you don't have any livestock.
Yeah, but, most restaurants don't.
And not in the 1800s.
I guess you're right.
Another story told of Elias Featherforth visited the Schombacher's tavern, saying every different. One day while walking in the mountain, after hearing the strange noises, he approached the infamous barn on the property. The sounds were so more distress, and he quickly entered the barn, hoping to help. That's where he spied Mathis in the loft, holding a hatchet. Mathis saw the man and yelled, go away quickly, or I'll sink my hatchet into your head. He ran away. Mathis' reputation of evil, raged man only grew. So just kept doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The guy was nuts.
Yeah.
Whether he was actually hacking people to death
or
butchering pigs, really, really weird.
You
don't normally do that with a hatchet.
At least I don't think you do.
One of the more pervasive stories was from Ed Taxler, who recounted his father's tale of a man in Paulding, old Civil War uniform in Albany Township during the 1870s. The man was eventually reported missing after seen heading up the mountain towards the tavern. A few weeks later, Mathis was seen in Reading, PA, selling merchandise similar to the hymn.
Okay.
So basically the stuff that the peddler had,
Yeah. He's selling it now.
he's selling it. Well, Laura has it that Mathis killed at least 11 travelers. Records revealed that it never changed, or he was never charged with any crime. Perhaps the stories were just the imagination tales dreamed up by disturbed neighbors. If he did kill as many as he claimed, or as many as people claimed, he would definitely be one of America's early serial killers.
They're making him out to be like the old man from Home Alone movie with the shovels of snow.
Yeah.
Like he's just some evil killer.
We talked about that with like some of these other stories too.
Yeah.
That most of the time it may have been just a weird, angry dude. And his neighbors made up stories and they just took on a life of its own.
Right, yeah. Which, happens very easily.
Schombacher. Mathis Schombacher.
I think that's who I'm going to be for Halloween next year. Is
Mathis Schombacher?
No, the shoveler from Home
I thought you
Alone.
were going to be Mathis Schombacher.
Maybe I could.
He died in 1879 and was buried in New Bethel Church in Albany Township. However, even in his death, was surrounded by rumors. One tells of how Mathis had been on his deathbed confession to all the murders, including many more. In the confession, he claimed that an evil spirit from the mountain whispered to him day and night, encouraging him in his act to murder people and eat them. Now, what does that sound like?
Wendigo?
A Wendigo spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, it really does. It really sounds, because that's kind of what happens.
Right. Cannibalism or desperation.
Yeah, that whatever caused the Wendigo spirit to inhabit, maybe it didn't fully possess him, if this is real. Maybe it's just kind of attached to him.
Oh, so you're saying a spirit found him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's what happens too with Wendigos in general. Because the Skinwalker, we've talked about that before. They may be the same entity that is inhabiting a human.
Yeah.
The Skinwalker is a ritual, there's a 3-year-long ritual that you kind of get control over the spirit.
Okay.
The Wendigo spirit is kind of thrust upon you. That's why it's much more animalistic and crazy.
Yeah.
So what if this is kind of somewhere in the middle?
Where you kind of
Or it's
inviting it, you're asking for it, but
it's nagging at him. It's constantly nagging at him. I don't know. In his confession, he claimed that an evil spirit from the mountains whispered to him day and night, encouraging him to do these murderous acts. Perhaps it was a troubled spirit of Jacob, who had displaced we just said the Native American tribe. How do you say it again?
gosh, Lenape.
The Lenape tribe, once called Hawk Mountain home. More stories about Mathis's body being lowered into the ground. A bolt of lightning struck the pallbearers.
What?
Yeah.
All of them?
Well, okay.
I guess if you hit one.
It's a story, but it struck the casket and shocked the pallbearers.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty nuts.
The coffin rolled down over, and Mathis had a burnt face.
Is that real?
It's a story.
Yeah, okay.
1870 something.
All right, okay.
After his death, the myth of Schombacher's Tavern only grew. Some locals tell stories of a pious man who became the next owner of the house. He believed the house was haunted by a dark, evil spirit, but his complete belief in God kept it at bay. One day, someone traveling over the mountain came upon the former tavern and noticed the door was ripped completely off the hinges by some great beast.
Oh, no.
He peeked inside. Furniture was thrown all over. There was no sign of any pious owner. A search party was mounted, and they soon located a corpse of a man that was decapitated.
Gosh.
The murder was never solved.
Huh.
It is known that William Turner bought it from Schombacher's Tavern property in the late 1800s. He raised a large family there and continued running for a stopover for travelers. But in the early 1900s, many patrons of the hawk shooters who would hike on top of the mountain shot birds for sport. The story of the Times described that Turner had a beautiful young daughter. While playing her whistle, she stumbled and fell down the steep set of stairs leading to the tavern's basement. The girl died, but the haunting music of her whistle still lives on in the place.
So, if I ever die and you hear the whistles.
Nobody ends good in this tavern because more people owned it and it all just goes bad.
Yeah.
Now it's state owned.
So it sounds like something is inhabiting.
Like my old house.
Like, yeah, something's there.
Schombacher's Tavern was next sold to John E. Wetz in 1922. Soon after, locals began to suspect some sort of mischief was going on there. Weird lights and odd noises were heard all hours of the night. In time, there was enough reports from the authorities to start investigating the rumors. In 1930, Prohibition agents raided the property. After a brief shootout, they found a gin mill and bootleggers held up there. In 1938, Schomburger's Tavern was sold to the newly established Hawk Mountain Sanctuary to house personnel like Muncie and Aaron Boren. That's the guys that are holding it now, like that kind of nailed the legends down for us.
Okay.
The Borens heard many of these stories noted above, and even a few of their own. They are also known to claim to have found several human bones on the property, but there's no real evidence of this existing. Whether or not Schomburger's Tavern is truly haunted, it continues to delight the retelling of ghost stories today. Yeah, this is crazy. The Schomburger's infamous continues to grow. In recent times, he and his wife Margaret's gravestones completely disappeared from the New Bethel Church Cemetery.
Well, that's kind of odd.
I think they were stolen by legend
hunters.
Yeah, legend hunters and that kind of stuff. Like it says in the beginning of the episode.
Don't steal. Do not deface. Do not vandalize. Don't do anything illegal.
We don't think you should go to any of these places, but if you do, just be respectful.
We just think all these places are really neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what do you think?
I mean,
Schomburger's Tavern. Sorry, I believe it was Kenneth that I couldn't pronounce it. I should have maybe looked up how to say it. But it was a really cool thing. It's just one of these places that everything goes wrong.
Right.
I don't know if it's it's a lot of stories. It's just a lot of stories.
Yeah, and is it just rumored? But there's no one.
Was there one? Yeah.
There's no one profiting off it now. I mean,
it's a part of it, like a preserve, a nature preserve.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I bet there was some truth to it, and we just know that some places inhabit some bad things. So it sounds like we need to get someone in there to rid that spirit, whatever's living there. Something's living there. Something's obviously doing this to all these people. It's got a pretty good track record.
Next one. Well, actually, why don't we take a little ad break?
Oh, okay, good. Because I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
Always.
I could use a little bit of that dust. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, we're down here at Mel's Hole, and Justin? Justin? Where'd you go?
Help! I'm falling down the hole!
You fell down Mel's Hole?
Yes, I keep falling. And I think I'm going to be falling for a really, really long time.
Oh, no. How long till you have enough time for me to get a rescue crew?
I think I do, but I'm really hungry, and I found a dead tumor seal as I was falling. But it looks absolutely disgusting. Do you have anything to help?
I think I have just the thing. Here, let me toss down a couple of bottles of Flavors of the Forest Bigfoot Breath.
Really, really chuck them so they catch up.
Here it comes, one. And two.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to eat this tumor seal now with Flavors of the Forest. Where could other people get this amazing product to cook their own tumor seal?
You can get this wonderful, amazing, tasty product at flavorsforest.com/corn. Add it to anything and it will make your food taste delicious. Oh, that silly Mel's Hole.
That's a hometown legend.
Yeah, sure is.
Ready for the next state?
Yep, what's the next state on the list?
The best state.
Ohio?
It is Ohio, finally. Now.
Ada.
What? The capital?
Yeah, that's what it should be.
Ada?
Ada.
I don't want it to be the capital.
No, we're just the center of everything. You know, everything goes through Ada in Ohio. Everything.
Every NFL football's made.
Yep.
At Ohio.
That's all that matters. I'm not even going to say the state or the capital because it doesn't matter and it's not that good of a city.
Do you know the capital?
Well, yeah, but I don't. I live there. I lived there for 2 years and I hated it.
And I think I will say the capital for
Columbus.
Because this is one I've had other people tell me that the capital is Cleveland.
Wrong.
And I've had other people tell me the capital is Cincinnati.
Very wrong. Columbus, Ohio.
Now, what was our original capital?
Chillicothe.
The
other C city.
All of our... Toledo, I guess, is the only big city that really didn't start.
Yeah, and it's right on the verge of being big, like them too.
Because it shares, half the city shared with Michigan.
I'd say it's not. I'm not going to consider Toledo because it's just like Dayton. It's like that size.
It's not like huge, but it's not small.
It's big, but it's not huge.
Yeah. Columbus takes, even if you're on the highway, it takes like 25 minutes to get across.
Oh, yeah.
Toledo, you can be through in like 7 minutes.
Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah, so we'll just leave them out. The big three, the big C's.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this is all about. We're going to actually just do Hardin County, so we're just doing home.
Right here, right in the heart of it all.
And I picked some. So for us, because you hear so much about Ohio. Oh, what do you think of Ohio? What monster, paranormal, UFO?
I mean, just instantly the grass man. That's what instantly pops in my head. Just how grass man. Because I think I just associate. I don't even say the grass man. I always say the Ohio grass man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why I instantly get drawn to that. Or you can go Defiance Dog Man. Let's just give a local guy.
Dog Man is one that always, the Defiance Dog Man specifically, will always. Maybe if we start a museum, that'll be the second exhibit.
Ooh, what would be the first?
Bigfoot.
Okay, then we got Loveland Frogman. That's a big one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Ohio guys, but it's just because it's our state.
Mm-hmm. You got mine.
I think of ritual sacrifices that take place right down the road from here.
It does happen here.
Oh yeah, that's one of our relatives. That's pretty scary, ain't it?
Mine was my great aunt was sacrificed.
That's what I was referring.
Oh, I thought you said your relative.
One of our relatives. I said.
Oh no, my great aunt was sacrificed in a satanic ritual.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Right down the road.
Literally, right, like 5 miles from here.
The teacher talked about it, and he made a joke about it while I was sitting in the class, and I raised my hand and said that was my great aunt, and he didn't believe me. And I'm like,
what did you say? No, it wasn't.
And I'm like, looking up her name.
What's her last name? Oh.
And then he just turned around and kept teaching class.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oops.
That happened. That happened here. We did it in a Patreon night, actually.
Yeah, we did.
And who was it?
Somebody
found it all.
Found the articles and stuff. Yeah. It's nuts. That's
happened.
So scary.
If anybody didn't believe me, I can never remember where to find the articles or anything like that because I don't like it.
Yeah.
But who was it? One of our Patreon members, there's the article for anybody that doesn't believe it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
No, so I did Hardin County hauntings that mostly I didn't know about.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, because they're like little. So it's from the Ohio Ghost Hauntings website.
Okay.
You can break them down by the county, or for the bigger areas like cities, you can break down by like parts of the city.
Okay.
So for like a county like ours where there's not like a ton of people.
No.
So they do it by the county.
Okay. Yeah, we got three towns in our county.
Oh, we have a lot more towns than that. We only have one city.
Jumbo doesn't count.
No, but like Dola, Dunkirk.
Barely.
Alger.
Those aren't
Roundhead.
towns. They're villages.
Did you hear my last one?
Roundhead.
50 people live in Roundhead.
Yeah.
McKittrick Hospital. The old McKittrick Hospital is in the 500 block of North Dayton Street in Kenton.
Okay.
It's still a hospital, right?
I don't know.
It's still the hospital. It's one of the big name hospitals now.
Okay. No,
it's still a hospital, though.
Okay.
Residents could hear the squeaking of wheels at night and the sound of high-pitched heels on the hardwood floor in the hallways. Shadows could be seen going up and down the doorways, only to find nobody was there. This one gets reported a lot by nurses and caretakers, seeing somebody pass the room and going to check it out and there's nobody there, or seeing somebody go into a patient's room and there's nobody there. So this is common. If anybody's been, maybe one day we'll do a hospital worker specialty, because I worked in a nursing home for a short period of time and had a couple experiences. I worked in a hospital for a longer period of time, and I had one of all the nurses and doctors there that would open to sharing had encounters.
Yeah.
Whether it was good or bad. The one in our angel episode shared her an angel encounter.
Yeah.
I had something touch me in that one when I was having a migraine in a locked room. And I was having an optic migraine, so I couldn't see, and then something touched me. I'm not one to be played with spirits. I will burn everything. I'll kill us all.
Did you karate chop a ghost?
I punched a trash can.
Oh, okay.
Because I was throwing up into the trash can.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But if it could have been, it would have. And so in the hospital too, McKittrick Hospital, in inaccessible rooms, a lot of times they see like a figure walk up to the window and then just back appear. And they'll go search a room that's like keypadded locked, and there won't be anybody in there.
Right, yeah.
Whether that's spirits that get stuck. I know there's a lot of old legends about hospitals. Like my mom, I think, told me this one. Or maybe it was my grandma. You're supposed to open a window to let the spirit out. Not that they can that
they can't get out, but
it helps them.
Yeah, just I guess you're opening, I don't know, an avenue for them to help. I don't know.
I don't know if it's more of a symbolic thing.
Yeah, that's kind
of
being
like, hey, it's time to move on.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting though.
Yeah, the next one is Pioneer Village in Kenton. According to the legend, Mr. Burnson was plowing a field one day when he soon noticed his wife's favorite metal clock was sitting in the field. The clock was his wife's most prized possession, and which had no reason to be outside. Afraid that someone had broken into their home, Mr. Birdson grabbed the clock and took it back to the house. When he went inside, he discovered his wife was unfortunately dead. Many believe that it was her spirit that moved the clock in his pathway to get her husband's attention. People claim today to still see her spirit roaming the property and seeing a clock disappear and reappear. I never knew this one. This is right down the road from us.
Yeah, no, me either. That's pretty neat.
Like I said, this is like a really cool website. If you like haunted stuff, if you like looking up stuff to find, this is a really cool website just to kind of find little ones.
Yeah.
Sullivan, how do you ever say that last name? Sullivan Johnson Museum. So this is that little museum in Kenton. Never been, but it's cool.
Where's it at?
I've never been. I don't know. It's in Kenton, though.
Okay.
Footsteps are often heard by visitors, volunteers, and tour guides. The spirit of Mr. Sullivan himself has been there several times, according to people. This is like a little history museum. Or like, it's the Kenton, I think it's called now just the Kenton, or the Hardin County History Museum.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I only know about it because of the fair. But it's an interesting thing. It's just one that's heard a lot. Now let's talk about ONU.
Oh, okay.
ONU is just haunted.
Okay, how so?
Every building has its own stories.
Okay.
Clark Hall, this residence hall, says it's haunted by a ghost named Phoebe. I've heard about this. At the bar one night, ONU kid was telling me about this.
Okay.
And I was just like, I was too adultly beveraged to understand. She is said to walk the halls and watch people in their rooms. Supposedly, there's a memorial placard to her in a chimney with her name on it.
Okay, we got to find this.
5 up. Once a fraternity house, this all-girl dorm is said to be haunted by 2 ghosts. One ghost is a pledge who was hit in the head with a keg and killed.
Gosh, I would not be surprised.
The frat boy who was tossing the keg down the stairs as the pledge was running up. So he threw a keg down the stairs as she was going up the stairs, whacked her in the head, killing her, smashing her head.
Yeah, that would happen instantly.
The ghost is said to walk up and down the stairs repeatedly. Later, the college was shut down the fraternity, and a girl committed suicide in one of the rooms.
Oh, jeez.
She is often seen in the room where she died.
Oh, jeez. No, I didn't know about this one.
Yet, I knew about the suicide.
Wow.
So if you don't know, colleges, especially big colleges,
How
have their own
recently
police.
was this?
Last 20 years.
Okay. Yeah.
This happened in my lifetime.
Okay. Yeah, they have their own security campus security.
So they don't have to release murders and rapes to the public knowledge.
Yep. Basically, they report to the campus police or security.
I've talked to ONU kids that have been raped.
Mm-hmm.
They are strong-armed into just returning it in to the ONU police and not the real police.
Mm-hmm. Yep, which is sad.
There was a local girl that was raped by an ONU kid that the ONU police would do nothing about it. And since it was on campus, it was just a weird thing. And then I don't know what happened to the guy, but he disappeared.
Yep.
He did disappear.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens in small towns.
It really does. I mean, yeah, just remember.
I'm trying to think, because
rape's bad.
Rape's horrible, yes. Yeah.
It's
bad, okay.
About the worst thing you can do to a person.
To another person, yes.
It's depending on who you ask, it's probably worse than murder, because it's with rape, it's never over.
No.
The mental scarring, I mean, you got to live with that forever.
Mm-hmm.
Murder's horrible as well, but it's over.
Right, yeah. Trying to think because I spent a lot of time in ONU, staying in ONU.
This is one of the big buildings that used to be back. They tore it down now.
Well, I'm just trying to remember if I had any weird paranormal or ghost encounters up there. But
I mean, we know a lot of employees. Actually, the one that we play euchre with, she's told us stories.
Really?
About thinking kids were in rooms when they're doing clean outs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, I bet we can have. I bet you. I know a few from that bowl too. That
actually, we can look out this window and yell at her if you want.
Crew. Oh, yeah, we probably could.
She lives right there.
Really? Okay. I don't think I knew that.
Right there. I could see her house.
I didn't know that.
Hendrick Memorial Library, the Hendrick family, is said to be entombed in the walls of the library. It is not known if they haunt the building. They're said the library is said to have human remains in the walls.
And here in ONU?
Yes.
Wow. The library that's right down the road?
The law library.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
'cause
one on that.
There's like 4. ONU has like 4 libraries.
Is that the one on this street?
Yes.
Okay.
Kennedy House. Ghost footsteps can be heard in the building late at night. Lights turn on and off in certain rooms. Mysterious music can be heard at all times with no source. One of the ghosts is believed to be haunting the buildings is Henry Lear, which is it's the Lear Kennedy House.
Yes.
So it's actually him himself. Presser's Hall. A ghost named Bard haunts this building. He supposedly died on his way to a recital. Whatever a song are played in the key of D minor, he bangs the pipes loudly. He is also said to occasionally make the chandeliers swing in the tempo of the music.
That's very interesting.
Stammenbox Hall. The shadowy figure of a man is often seen in the restrooms of the co-ed building, watching.
Okay, that's freaky.
He likes to walk towards the showers, and when anybody notices him, he disappears. There's literally a peeping Tom ghost.
Oh my gosh.
But don't worry, he does it to both men and women.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. Yeah, that's even better. Yeah, just a peeping Tom that doesn't discriminate.
Doesn't discriminate. Equal opportunity.
Yeah, just wants to see some skin.
All right,
Ugh.
so I got 2 more for you. Ridgeway.
Yeah, right down the road.
Yep.
It's not far from us.
There's a witch's pyramid in Ridgeway.
Okay.
Did you know about this?
No.
So located in Ridgeway Cemetery off of State Route 273 is a pyramid-shaped tombstone where the body of a witch is supposedly buried after she died in the 1800s. This is an eerie tome carved into the tombstone. The witch is said to haunt the grounds of the cemetery, and in the late 1990s, some people attempted to dig up the witch's body, but found nothing after digging 6 feet down. They were later arrested and sentenced for grave robbing. The OES visited Ridgeway Cemetery in 2014 and was unable to find any pyramid-shaped tombstone matching the descriptions. Many people think it was actually moved after the crime incident.
Okay. No, I didn't know about this one.
Yeah. So it's not there anymore after 2014, but there are plenty of people, especially in this ghost website, that kind of claim that earlier in the 2000s, it was there.
It's still
They
there.
go, like, yeah. There's always, if you see people out in the middle of a graveyard at night, it's probably ghost hunters. And most of them are not doing anything bad. They're just sitting there talking.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not digging nothing up.
I said like most.
Right, most.
So there's a bad apple in every bunch.
That's true.
And then my last one is Roundhead.
Okay.
Hempville Roadhouse. The property was once owned by Robert Hemp. He's said to be buried underneath the front porch. Every person who has lived in the house has reported strange noises and seeing a figure of a man wearing a top hat. One family is said to keep the heat on 80, but one of the rooms in the basement still remains freezing cold. Other paranormal activities in the base are reported around the family include clothes stored in the closet and underneath the stairs were found scattered around the floor, the TV dial being turned on its own and going through the channels. And even if they put it onto a different channel, it would hop back to the previous channel. Yet another family kept a Bible opened into a certain verse in the living room. Supposedly each time they left and returned, they would find the Bible open to a different verse which was read at Hemp's funeral.
Oh, wow.
So it always kept going back to the same verse.
Yeah, interesting.
There was also a second gravesite underneath the home's front porch of an unknown occupant. The walls of the basement were torn out by somebody trying to rob the grave.
So someone else was buried there.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know who?
No, I'm going to guess his wife or one of his kids.
Well, wouldn't they know that, though?
Would they?
Why not?
I don't know.
Okay.
So that's what I got for Ohio. I decided to do a little bit smaller ones since we have so many. And we talk about Ohio all the time.
You made me think of one, though, I don't think we mentioned before. I'm not sure exactly where it's at, but I know it's not far from here, but it's the statue of Mary that appears on the edge of the woods in a field. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's I'm trying to remember where it's at. Somewhere between here. Okay. And I think like Paulding. So within that stretch.
Worst city.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's not the best. It's
No, I only say that because I'll tell you after. Go on.
yeah, it's not good there. It's not good. Somewhere between here and there, though, one of our employees that used to work out at the bowling alley talked about it, and they'd seen it too. But this statue was like a statue of Mother Mary was like in the corner of this field, and sometimes it would be there, and sometimes it wouldn't be. I just thought that was, and she said she claims she saw it. They went looking for it, and they saw it once.
There's another one. I think Indola has like shadow kids that run out in front of your car.
Mm-hmm.
Our old maintenance guy at the hospital said he thought he hit a kid.
Yeah.
Because it was foggy, and he just seen this black blob, like a little kid, run out in front of him.
Yeah.
He's like, it was like 5 a.m., right when it was just kind of getting dusk, like a little bit of sun.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't hear anything, and he got out, and he called the police and all that. And the police came out and just kind of dismissed it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as a human would, he felt horrible.
Right.
But he's like, there's got to be, it was foggy, though. So he's like, the kid's got to be here somewhere.
Yeah. But, oops, it's like David Lopan again, just running right over him.
That was Ohio, the best state on the list. No, I mean, those are just some little local hauntings, and there's a ton. Like I said, working at the hospital, after about a year, and I became known as the weird guy for this stuff. And there was a bunch of stories that finally come through, and people just be like, well, that happened once. I don't believe any of this stuff, but
they start telling you the weird stuff.
Yeah. That's how people are. Everybody has a paranormal experience. It just matters how much you want to look into it.
Right, yeah. Oh, I had a paranormal experience this weekend at the bowling alley.
What?
Kind of.
Let's hear it.
I think I am a time traveler. A clone of mine walked in the bowling alley in bold. Showed up. First of all, he showed up. He didn't sign up. He never called ahead. He just showed up and said, I'm here to bowl.
And he looked just like you?
If I was like 70 years old, maybe 60s, he had the same haircut.
Is it you?
That's what I said. I said, it's me from the future. I was telling her, it's me. It's me in the future. He just had brain surgery. Rookie Wright. Shout out to Rookie Wright, former professional bowler, showed up at the bowling alley. But it's me in the future.
Are you Rookie?
I think I'm Rookie. And I think I'm teaming up with him. I'm bowling with him in the next tournament.
Are you?
I am.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's just, I'll take pictures when he comes back.
I got to see this.
But it was eerie.
Eerie?
And he just, he was just there.
So it's always a joke. I forgot I was going to say why I don't like Paulding, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing to do with Paulding, Ohio, really.
Oh, okay.
No, when Luke used to do snowmobiles, like buy and sell, trade, all that stuff.
Yeah.
He had me go with him one time to help load up 2 snowmobiles they were getting.
In Paulding?
In Paulding.
Okay.
And Paulding's like, what, 45 minutes away?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. The whole trip took like 8-9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. Everything that could go wrong.
Went wrong.
Flat tire on the trailer. We almost wrecked in a snowdrift. It was during a blizzard. And then we finally get to Paulding, and the sleds are destroyed. One of the actual, like, the snowmobiles are destroyed. One of the arms of the snowmobile is completely hanging off.
He didn't notice?
The guy was trying to act like nothing was wrong with him. And like the body had a giant hole out of it.
Yeah.
And he was driving it around with one of the arms of the sled hanging behind it.
Oh my gosh.
And we're all just kind of sitting there like, this guy's not right.
Yeah.
And Luke was like, these are part sleds, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, they're operable. They're good. Because he's trying to sell them for like $2,000 a piece.
Oh my gosh.
And we just like, well, we're going to go have lunch and kind of talk about it. And then we just left.
I would have.
And every restaurant in Paulding was closed. And we went to the gas station. We're about to run out of gas. And their card reader was down. So we got to another gas station. It was horrible. It was just the whole event. The only time I've been to Paulding, actually.
It's not good there.
The whole event was just.
Never had one positive experience there.
I haven't either, but I've only been one time.
Okay.
All right. Next state. Tennessee.
You're the only 10 I see.
Oh.
Tennessee. Nashville.
Yeah. This is another one I think people get wrong because there's several really famous states.
Like Memphis or...
Memphis, I've heard.
Knoxville.
Knoxville's another one.
Yeah. But nope, Nashville.
Yeah.
And what do you think of?
Tennessee is a weird state for me. I mean, obviously you think of the music. I think of the 3rd largest pyramid in the world.
Okay.
Because that's in Tennessee on the mud.
It's what's it called? Bass Pro Shop?
It is a Bass Pro Shop. It's not at a Bass Pro Shop. It is a Bass Pro Shop.
Well, what? Same difference.
No, there's a big difference.
I mean, yes and no.
Bass Pro built the 3rd largest pyramid
in the world.
And the guy that talked about that, he's like, if I'd known we were that close, we'd have built the biggest one in the world.
Just tear it down, redo it.
Like, you know how mad it would be if you put that up and you're like, I'm how far off?
Yeah, like, dang it.
20 more feet?
Just jack it up. Get
I think
under
it's
it.
the base, too. Like, you got to do everything.
Oh, this foot. Like, okay.
It's got to be, it is marginally a lot bigger. Even though it's like, whatever, 20 feet taller, the base is much more large.
Gotcha, yeah.
No, so Tennessee, Nashville. For me, I mean, definitely it's a Bigfooty state. It always is a Bigfoot. I think a dog man. I think of the feral people a lot.
Mm.
Because I think this is a big state, which we have never done our feral people special, so we'll do that one time. We'll do it soon. Because I think I think Appalachia as a whole is home of the feral people, which are different than Sasquatch, obviously.
Right. Well, yeah, they're people.
They're actual humans that are maybe 3 or 4 generations of living out there.
Right.
But yeah,
It's
what
the
do you
way to
think? What's the...
I think of, I don't know if you knew this about Tennessee, but did you know that
It's
it
the
is
most-
the biodiverse place in the world for amphibians?
It's just the most biodiverse place in the world.
For
Everything.
for everything?
Yeah.
I thought it was for amphibians.
No.
I thought it was like salamanders and
It is
frogs and
amphibians.
stuff.
It
Oh,
is the
okay.
most. There's a bunch of species of salamander that are only found in Smoky Mountain National Park.
Mm-hmm.
But-
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did know that.
Oh, okay.
It's the most biodiverse place in the U.S., period. And I think it's
100.
either Alabama or Georgia is trying to claim it because they have the tip of the Smokies.
Oh, okay.
And it's really funny to me because they claim it. They put it on like promotional stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
Because the Smoky Mountain National Park itself has like 8 salamanders that are only found in Smoky Mountain National Park.
Do they have like a sliver of it goes in their state or something?
The Smoky Mountains, yeah, but not
Yeah.
Smoky Mountain National Park.
Okay, not the park. Okay.
I don't think so. I think that just it almost touches the Carolinas, like barely, because
Okay.
the Ridgeback Mountain, or whatever. It's the famous motorcycling mountain.
Yeah.
It sucks driving a car, but if you're driving a motorcycle,
It's fun.
it's a really cool place. It's like one of those like premier destinations in the U.S. for
Which
it.
I know you don't like motorcycles, but
I don't like people around. It's not really motorcycles itself. It's just motorcycles and other motorists.
well, yeah, I know. Well, it's kind of the motorcycles itself, though.
Yeah.
But they are fun.
Tennessee. Now, this is the White Bluff, Tennessee. We're going to talk about their monster and hauntings.
Okay.
So, a mythical creature tormented a small town in Tennessee. Ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
There's something about small towns that seem to attract the strange and unusual. It is the best setting for an eerie horror film. In the spaces of the strange going on, the loneliest towns are prone to hauntings and monsters running amok. But the town of White Bluff, Tennessee, is a quiet, community-oriented space located in the expansive western plains of the state. It is a small town that truly excludes the heart of the South, welcoming visitors with a solid bout of hospitality and good-naturedness. There is a secret, though, hidden behind this facade in White Bluff. A dark story that had grisly beginnings stretching back to almost to the 1920s. It's a legend of stark horror, trimmed with eerie edges and bounds to keep you up at night. This is the tale of the White Screamer,
Oh, gosh. That's a horrible name.
an anonymous monster that can't quite seem to leave. Every time they think the White Screamer is gone, it comes back
It comes white back.
and it claims another victim. There's a natural hollow in White Bluff, skirted with forest and deep Tennessee beauty. Back in the 1920s, a young family built their home on the land. The newcomers consisted of a father and mother, as well as 7 children. It was a perfect family and a perfect spot to begin again, or so they thought. It didn't take long for the family to realize some strange going-ons were about to form. But with their worst fears ignited a horror in the middle of the night. That is when the screaming began.
Great.
Every night, there would erupt an ungodly wailing and crying and screeching. It would terrify the children and chill the parents to the bone.
You think it was just cats doing it?
Big cats.
Yeah.
Really big cats.
Okay.
Horse-sized cats.
That's big cat.
I had that happen 2 nights ago.
A horse-sized cat?
No, cats outside the window.
Oh, gosh. Doing it?
Yeah.
No, it's so terrifying.
If you don't know what it is, it's a lot of noise.
Yeah, it sounds like one killing the other.
So as the story goes, a young man... Oh, sorry. I skipped ahead. Oh, no. As the story goes, the young man became enraged with the violent night antics, took his gun into the woods in the middle of the night. So he hears this thing just screaming. nights after night after night. Like just ungodly.
Yeah.
But it keeps coming back to the edge of their property every night and just screaming at him.
Oh, boy.
So he's got 7 kids and a wife. The kids are probably, up just terrified.
Yeah.
As they should be. And then the wife is probably like, go out there and kill that thing. Like, you want me to go out there? It's pitch black. It's 1920. You want me to go out there and go roam around the woods?
Right.
Or there's something that's screaming? Okay. As he rounded the property, he realized the sound was becoming louder, more shrill, more clear. It wasn't screaming at all. It was a whole crowd of them.
Oh, okay.
And he ran back towards the house.
Yeah, okay.
Only to discover his greatest nightmare.
Oh, no, his family.
What he found was his family completely tore to pieces.
Oh, my gosh.
Body parts were strewn across the whole house. The home that he once viewed as a safe haven had suddenly become a terror and a space in a single night. So yeah, once he left the house, and it was like being lured to the back of the property, he rounds the barn and just sees a chorus of these creatures.
Yeah.
And he instantly knows that he's been tricked.
Mm-hmm.
Runs back, and everybody's already dead.
That's insane.
Some believe the White Screamer was actually a banshee, a legend that spawned from Irish origins and details a monster that follows a family and foretells great death and misfortune. According to the local community, the White Screamer can still be heard haunting the White Bluffs, and the town isn't shy about their strange monster. They've learned to live with the spirit, and they're bound to hear a different angle from everyone that calls this gorgeous town home. This is definitely one, like the White Bluffs, Tennessee. If you go there, they'll kind of tell you where the property was, and they're not shy to talk about it. Like we talk about this a lot with Loveland, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Loveland and ask about the Frogman in Loveland itself. They want nothing to do with it up until very, very, very recent history. I'm like October.
Right.
And they just did it for a money grab. The
Duh.
city itself.
Yes.
The city itself just did it for a money grab. Nothing about the Frogman. But when we went down years ago asking about the Frogman, they didn't want nothing to do with it. But if you go just out to the edges, everybody's like, yeah, the Frogman happened here.
Mm-hmm.
This town has fully embraced it. Depending on who you ask, it was a white Bigfoot-like creature.
Okay.
I've heard everything from a group of devil monkeys, which Tennessee is famous for devil monkeys. That's one of the hot spots for these things, these baboon-like creatures.
Yeah.
To the banshee angle. I don't know. What do you think? And there's not much to it. There's a little bit of history, and it's still talked about a lot.
Those three, I guess the banshee's the one that makes the most sense when it comes to luring you away, just to dismember the rest of the family. It's so awful. But why did not go after him? I guess after
He had a gun.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
That's why I don't think it was personally, I don't think it was a banshee.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the devil monkeys.
You think they're aware though of like what a gun is?
Yes.
Okay. And they just knew like pull him away, they could get the rest of them.
I don't know if they were trying to do that on purpose or taking an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because he'd never left a house. So if this actually happened the way that the story goes, I think it was devil monkeys, because Tennessee's had a lot of very, very violent devil monkey encounters.
Okay.
I think they built their home in the middle of a seasonal territory. We've heard this a lot with Bigfoot too, that Bigfoot come back to a seasonal territory. And now there's a house there.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot will, most of the time, they just want to scare you. Or once after like a year or two, they just kind of like, all right, just don't come to our area then.
Right.
It dies down a little bit with at least it seems to die down a little bit with Bigfoot after the initial response.
Gotcha.
I think the devil monkeys were just I think they're giant baboons. And we've talked about it before in the devil monkey episodes that there were giant baboons in like the last 10,000 years. There were baboons the size of a guy. If anybody didn't know what a baboon or a baboon is in Africa, they are extremely scary. They steal and eat babies. They kidnap dogs to raise to use.
Yeah.
As we use dogs. They're extremely smart animals.
They are.
But they're extremely violent, cunning predators.
You can watch, you can actually sign up and go with these tribes and hunt baboons with them, like local tribes in Africa, which is insane. And they did one where they strapped a GoPro to their local
look
dogs.
like you're hunting guys.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's so weird. It's scary though. Like they're very, very scary.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what the devil monkeys are, is the big version of those. And I think they're very smart. So I think when he left the house, that was the first thing that since they had moved there and started experiencing things,
Yeah.
that the situation changed. So I think that they may have either rushed the house, whether they knew what the gun was or not.
Gosh. Yeah. Man, that would be the worst thing in the world.
A lot of people say this was Bigfoot, and I just don't think it was.
No, because I mean,
CJ Honobia kind of vibes,
kinda,
but not really.
Yeah, not really like to lure you away and then just dismembering everybody inside, but leaving everything.
And
like
Dogman. I mean, Tennessee is a Dogman hotbed.
That is true too.
Which could be that devil monkey overlap.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mis-ID for Dogman is devil monkeys, because if you don't know, baboons have a very canid face.
Right, they do.
I mean, if you've seen a 4 foot or 5 foot tall baboon, and you knew Dogman existed, you'd call it a Dogman.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like the little Dogman out by Zanesville, I always think is just one of the baboons that just didn't get shot in the Zanesville massacre.
Oh gosh, that's horrible.
But
we've covered that on here,
yeah,
right?
100 times.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, so I don't know. You can still go. This town's apparently very, very beautiful. It is listed on one of the all the tourist boards of like one of these little places to go visit and have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just watch out for the Banshee Dogman / Bigfoot / Devil Monkeys. And you'll be fine.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Kentucky.
Ooh, Kentucky. Now, do you pronounce the capital? Do you pronounce it Louisville or Louisville?
I know the joke.
Yeah,
so what's the capital?
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
I got my grandpa with that one time. So
I think
good.
you got me. No, somebody got me with that a long time ago.
I just know.
I didn't know the capital.
So
it wasn't that I didn't even knew the capital.
Right.
I just was like, I guess, I don't know. You pronounce it this way. It's Frankfurt. Oh, okay. I didn't know the capital.
Yeah.
My bad.
I got my grandpa once, though. I walked into their house, my grandparents' house, and he was sitting there with my cousin. They were telling stories or whatnot, and they're telling jokes. And then that's when I was like, oh, well, that's when I said that to my grandpa, and he was real serious. He's like, it looks like Louisville, but it's pronounced Louisville. And nope, it's Frankfurt. And he was just like, get out of my house. That's what his eyes were telling me. So dumb.
Kentucky. So what cryptid paranormal thing do you think of?
Land between the lakes, basically, immediately.
Yeah, which is Kentucky-Tennessee border, right?
No, I thought it was Kentucky, like just past the Ohio border. Or is it Tennessee?
I think it's Kentucky-Tennessee border.
It's either way. It's one of the borders. I was thinking Ohio. Why am I thinking Ohio?
Now you got me thinking all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's like the Hopkinsville Goblins, but now I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Somerset, Kentucky, right?
What? Hopkinsville?
Yeah.
Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the big town is Somerset, Kentucky.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hopkinsville is the little town off to the side.
Ooh, I also think of Zach Bale's Paranormal Museum.
Everybody, check out Nightmare Gallery.
Yeah.
Zach Bale's Nightmare Gallery.
Zach Bale's presents Paranormal Road Trippers Nightmare Gallery in Somerset, Kentucky. Got it right here on the keychain.
Yeah, so Somerset's a whole weird town for all kinds of stuff in its own self.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the highest UFO sightings in the country is Somerset, Kentucky. It also sits on top of one of the largest quartz deposits.
So what's that all about? You equate that equation.
Just what do you call it? Coincidence?
No, it's the piezoelectric qualities of the quartz.
Just compress them,
and you shoot a lightning bolt
Lasers.
into the sky.
Gosh, I hope anybody's still enjoying this. It's Kentucky. The Cherokee Park. We're going to talk about Cherokee Park.
Okay.
Because Pan lives in the middle of Cherokee Park.
Pan, the little that goat man entity with the flute?
Well, that's one of them.
Okay.
Pan the Green Man.
Oh, okay. Peter.
What?
Peter Pan.
Oh. Like, what are you talking
He
about?
wears green.
No, just Pan is a deity that has made it into North America, and I'm 100% believe that there is cults around Pan here in Appalachia.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we're going to do a whole thing on Pan. I have a file that just says Pan for this stuff because there's
a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, it is. It'll probably have to be a season finale, just because it's going to be like 5 or 6 parts.
Dang.
Because there's just so much. Then when you look into it, especially like this thing, there's in the middle of in Cherokee Park, there is a Pan that lives in Cherokee Park. But yeah, so the Pan statue in Cherokee Park. This is from an investigating team that went out there. On the night of August 1st, under the light of the full moon, stroke of midnight, I journeyed into the heart of darkness to discover the truths and myths surrounding one of the Louisville's oldest urban legends. Most popular among the residents of the Highland area, the legend of Pan has been passed down through several generations of Louisvillians. The story tells of a statue of the mythical god Pan, who towers above Hogan's fountain in the heart of Cherokee Park, luring thirsty travelers and their dogs to the spring below. So what do you think he's doing to them?
Oh, well, probably going to drown them.
As the legend goes, the statue magically comes to life at midnight on the night of a full moon, running amok through the park and causing gremlin-style mischief. Over 100 years, Hogan's fountain was flauceted by the Hogan family in 1904. So you could actually go through. It's a spring.
Mm-hmm.
That they actually put a faucet on.
Nice. Okay.
So you can still go get water from it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The actual fountain itself, though, was sculpted by a local artist, Eden Yandel, who sculpted the famous Daniel Boone statue guarding the nearby entrance to the park. So that's all. I've seen that pictures. That's Daniel Boone statue everywhere. The guy also did the fountain.
Nice. Okay. So his work's well known.
Is officially unveiled to the public on August 31st of 1905. There's a scenic loop through Cherokee Park. Pan's fountain isn't the only unusual thing you'll encounter. Right off the loop on Ledge Road, you will come upon a stone dragon-headed Viking ship. Even older than Hogan's fountain, it was built in 1900. The invoking Viking vessel was designed by the Cleek and Loomis firm in consolidation with John C. Olmus Park Conservancy. And John C. Olmus as a memorial to Pullian Crowfoot Christiansens, and was fully restored by the Louisville Olmus Park Conservancy in 2001. So it was built in 1900 and just restored in 2001.
Okay.
That means hidden.
After 100 years.
That means they destroyed secret messages on it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Restored, quote unquote. Yeah.
Get rid of that note. Directly across from Hogan's Fountain, you'll find Hogan's Fountain Pavilion, built in 1965 and was designed as a public picnic shelter. But the Halloween fans are frequenting this site will likely immediately imagine a giant witch's hat. So from across from the statue of Pan,
there's a giant witch's hat?
Yes, this pavilion looks just like a giant witch's hat.
Like the building?
The top of the building looks like a big witch's hat.
Okay. Well, maybe, it's for there. It's probably some design, for efficiency.
So between the goat-legged specter of Pan and the oversized witch's hat, the whole area has an aura of ancient magic about it. As the full moon loomed above me, I turned to the scenic loop. For the witching hour was approaching. The trees on both sides of the car seemed to engulf the road as I traveled down twisting, winding paths. The full moon cast a shadow. When I reached the top of the hill, Pan's fountain awaited. I parked near the pavilion, walked to my destination. I never explored Cherokee Park in the night before. In the daylight, the park is filled with the sounds of families picnicking, bikers, hikers, and dogs. Now at the stroke of midnight, it's eerily silent. The entire area, for the exception of the soothing sound of water continuously streaming from the fountain, which grew seemingly louder as I approached. Then from approximately 30 feet away, I lifted my gaze to the top of the fountain and froze in my tracks. The great Pan was gone. My eyes adjusted in the darkness. The illusion revealed itself. The statue's white base stands out in the night's horizon. The black bronze statue itself appears to disappear in the blackness.
Ah, that's kind of cool.
So if you go there, one of the paranormal researchers, at first when you just kind of look, especially if you don't get out of your car,
Looks like
it's completely gone.
just a base there.
But yeah, because the dark bronze of the statue is blending in with the dark forest in the back.
Right. That's a neat little illusion.
But no, there's all kinds of stories. People say they've seen Pan or other Pan-like entities, like satyrs running around the forest. But it's one that it's in a park. You can go visit it if you so choose.
I kind of would like to see this one, be honest.
It's in Louisville, so it's not actually that far from us. Like what, 3 hours, 4 hours?
Louisville.
What'd I say?
Lewis.
I think we got time for one more. But what do you think of this one?
I kind of want to go down there and get us a drink. I think we should drink from the spring.
Oh, the spring. I'm like,
well, yeah.
I'm trying to quit drinking.
No. Get us a drink from the spring.
Day 16.
Hey, all right.
Second longest I've made it.
One day at a time. That's all it is. One day.
My record's 30 days.
All right. Let's see if we can beat it.
No, so yeah, I mean, springs, like we talked about with the Oh, the Healing Springs. Was that Georgia or Alabama?
Looking on my list, I don't remember exactly which state to attribute that.
But it was good. It was a neat one.
I think it was Georgia. I think you're right. I think it was Georgia.
The Healing Springs that the natives had that was taken from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would try it. Pan's a weird one. There's just a lot of weird statues to Pan. There's this whole town in West Virginia that nobody talks about it, but everybody has statues of the Green Man, which is Pan.
Do you know the name of the town?
No, it's in one of my folders for the Pan research.
Oh, okay. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah, it's in West Virginia. It's just a whole town, and nobody. If you ask about it, it's really rude to ask about the Pan statues in the town.
What do they say?
They don't want to talk about it. It's just they don't want to bring it up with outsiders.
Oh, okay. So it's like sumo wrestling in Japan. It's like, hey, I want to learn about this. I want to watch this in the U.S. No, blocked, banned. No one can watch this outside of Japan. Only us.
They did get, nuked twice.
Yeah, but still, they just don't want to share their sumo culture because they want to preserve it.
The U.S. shared the sun with them.
They don't think, the rest of the world just can't understand, even though they bring in other people from the rest of the world to a battle in it. I don't know. I digress.
Right. Well, the last state for this episode.
Okay.
Maine,
Augusta.
It is Augusta. This is one I would have never got.
Okay, I just remember. I don't know why that one
I never
sticks.
got.
Maine, though, for a weird cryptid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sure something should stand out. When I think of Maine, I think of lobsters and lighthouses.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally what I think of. Is there a haunted lighthouse or something?
I'm sure there is. A lot of sea serpents for me. When I think of Maine, I think of
Sea serpents.
Hundreds of sea serpents from the 1700s all the way up into modern day.
You ever been to Maine?
No.
Me either.
My in-laws go to Maine quite often. They pictures. It's extremely lovely.
I would like to go.
It has some Bigfoot culture to it too, because they bring me back Bigfoot stuff.
Ooh.
I also think of like the Lobstersaurus. Maine has stories of I think
giant lobsters.
Giant lobsters.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, I like lobster, but it's not like I'm not going to seek it.
Do not care for lobster, as in for the price tag.
Right? Yeah, that's for the price. It's like a little. I don't care for it, but if I have the opportunity to eat one, yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. It's very, very good, I think.
I don't care for it any way, shape, or form. Really.
Mm.
I mean, I'll eat it if it's offered to me.
I like the claw meat. Mm.
I don't think maybe I haven't had claw meat. I've had a lot of the tail meat.
The tail meat, it's a little chewy.
It's too much. I don't like the texture.
That claw meat is good stuff, though.
So this one we actually have a listener submission and one I found.
Oh, wow.
So Rachel, thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
I grew up in Maine, and back when I was in elementary school around 2006, something strange started happening in our area. Reports of dogs being attacked and farm animals being mutilated.
Mm.
It didn't take long before everybody started calling it the Turner Beast or the Androcoggins creature.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's another town. Every week, the local newspapers seem to have a news story of someone else spotting the mysterious creature. One summer night, my mom left the window open to let in some fresh air circulating. She was getting ready for her bed. Suddenly, she heard an awful howling sound. Now, living in Maine, we're used to hearing coyotes howl at night. It was part of the natural soundtrack. But this sound was different. My mom said she had never heard anything like it before or since. It was so chilling that it made her skin crawl. She immediately ran to close the windows and close the windows, not taking any chances. Around the same time, reports pouring in about dogs being torn to shreds. Big dogs like Dobermans and Rottweilers. The newspaper interviewed the owners, and they all kind of told similar stories. They'd let their dogs out to use the restroom at night. They'd hear a commotion, a fight, and then by the time they rushed outside, it was too late. Their dog would be ripped into pieces, torn apart in their very own yards in seconds.
That would just be the worst thing to come out to.
The weeks went on. A lot of speculation about what the creature might have been. Someone said it looked like a strange mix of a wolf and a goat.
Oh, so people had spotted whatever it was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Others stated they found it could be a werewolf or something out of a legend. Eventually, remains were found. They thought it belonged to the creature. The remains were tested, but never got solved. To this day, the creature's paw is on display in the Maine's Cryptozoology Museum for anyone who's curious to see it in person.
Actual paw or paw print?
A paw.
Okay. I don't know if I believe that. That's just me. I don't know. What did its paw fall off?
No, they found a dead body
Yeah.
and they hacked it to pieces
Hmm.
because everybody wanted a chunk of the monster.
I just don't know if I believe that. That's just
I don't
me.
know. I don't know. To me, if it's not a paranormal entity doing this, it is probably a bear with rabies.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because they get really thin, and most time rabies they get emaciated too. They get
Meaning,
thin, really thin,
okay.
skeletal almost.
Oh, okay.
They start acting really crazy. Sometimes mange is also associated with it. Other times rabies will cause you to rip out your own fur.
Okay.
So if anybody doesn't know what a bear looks like with mange,
Gosh.
it looks like a dogman or a demon.
Yeah, bears. There's that one famous picture of that bear with no fur,
Mhm.
and it looks really scary.
And with rabies, there's a period in rabies where the animal inflicted becomes extremely aggressive. There's latency periods and like periods where the ending of it is just they start walking in circles.
That's like where you see the coons and stuff doing that.
That's the end of it normally. They still bite you and pass it to you.
Yeah.
But the whole point of the aggression period is to bite and spread the disease.
rape. Okay.
But black bears are extremely powerful. They're just normally very docile.
Gosh.
So I don't know. That's
out on rabies. Yeah.
Mhm.
Going through a rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Or it's cocaine bear.
Yeah, it's cocaine bear. But I don't know. I feel like it's got some Bigfooty qualities to it.
Like I said, if it's non-paranormal, that's why I go with bear.
That's what you go with. Yeah.
If it's more paranormal, I could see Bigfoot. A very angry Bigfoot for dogs.
Yeah.
Cattle. But
Well, we know our
they do not like dogs.
and we know Maine's up north. It's not as up north as like Alaska, but we know, the ones up in Alaska, from what we understand, are very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe Maine, I don't know. It's not quite as up north, but maybe there's just a pocket of something very aggressive it's protecting and didn't like the dogs. We know Bigfoot don't like dogs.
I mean, the howls people were hearing, I could see that for Bigfooty type entities. I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's definitely a weird one. I don't know if I ever want to go to this little town where this is happening. No, thank you.
So like I said, I told you the town. Sorry. Maybe I didn't tell you the town. Maybe she didn't. Rachel, if you hear this, reach back out for the town. Maybe we'll do a full episode on it. The one I found.
Well, thank you, Rachel.
Thank
that was
you, Rachel.
awesome.
Thank you very much. Poco Moonshine Lake Monster.
Poco Moonshine Lake Monster. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Poco Moonshine Lake.
Okay.
Wait, there's a monster. Almost everyone around the area has heard of sea serpent-like creatures, and quiet numbers are frequent. The lake have seen it, or the trails it leaves behind. Of course, those who have seen it inherit to tell the stories in an advantage, because some disbelievers are bound to ridicule the witnesses, as we shall see in the last part of this article. Here are a few facts. First, the monster appears like a giant water snake. It prefers to be in the water, where it mostly inhabits, only to head onto land occasionally. Parts of its body are also kind of visible. Pull the water snake from the land. To measure with a yardstick, it reveals its true length. The snakes at the Pocono Moonshine often exceed 3 feet. Unfortunately, there's no record of the monster existing beyond the waters being measured. But a lot of estimates from people, eyewitnesses, say it's between 30 and 60 feet in length.
Okay.
There's an article that we'll quote here in a second that says 4 foot in diameter. Oh, big fat snake.
That's pretty thick. That's
Like a giant
that's
eel.
2 C's.
The monster can leave the water and travel on land to go around dams and other bodies and get into other bodies of water, like ponds.
Do you
So
think
this-
it's like how I guess eels would do it, like slither, or
So-
it's got feet?
Oh, it's like eels.
Okay.
I'm about to make the comparison. So it'll slither and end up in people's farm ponds.
Hmm.
Like eels. Every time it rains, eels end up in like random weird places because they just do it.
Right.
So that's immediately made me think of a giant eel.
Mhm.
They're like, yeah, it'll just end up, it'll go around dams and then it'll end up in ponds. So people would literally see a 60-foot monster in a cow pond. And then the next night, it won't
It's
be
gone. Yeah.
there. Witnesses say the Poconos Lake monster leaves trails with a width of about 3 feet. The trails are often evident by the marsh, by the rivers, the Poco Moonshine, and Crawford Lake. Casual observers likely don't have a clue of what they're seeing. So if you walk in these, like there's hiking trails all around this, you'll see people claim these giant slide marks going from one lake to the other. Like a big alligator or something.
That's what I was thinking of, yeah.
Or an immense serpent.
Perhaps a giant skink.
There is, so from some of the native tribes, about 3,000 years ago to 1,700 years ago, there were shale rocks with like pictograph styles that depict a giant monster living in the area.
Well, we knew that big creatures lived in the past. We know that 100%.
But yeah, so there's literally shale rocks. These characters include a shaman and his brother's spirit, moose, deer, the huge water serpent, and forms after contact with the Europeans. So like the cross in the ship.
Okay.
So they started it there. They were continuing the history on these big shale rocks. So you can see before white settling and after white settling or white contact.
Okay.
Because you just see, like I said, the cross starts appearing and the ship depictions start appearing.
Gotcha.
To get kind of gives you a good tell of when
they showed up.
When they switched. The fight with the Wima Mace-A-Quick was John Neptune in his encounter with the dreaded underwater monster, known by the Passamaquoddies as the, I can't even say these Native American words.
Okay,
they're not meant for English. The scene. So this was John Neptune, was another legend from the area, where they said that he fought this giant serpent. The scene of the fight was said to lay out in Boyd's Lake in Perry. The name for the lake is Nisik, meaning roly or muddy, because after the great fight, the lake stayed muddy. The story first appeared in print in the Algonquin Legends of North America in 1884. John Neptune was a shaman of great power. The conflict with a Mackinac chief, he agreed to settle on the waters there. Neptune turned himself into a horned snail, and Mackinac during a huge serpent 40 feet long. The battle was in the lake. Neptune killed his antagonist, tied his body to a tree on the shore.
So a giant snail versus a giant snake.
A giant horned snail.
Horned snail. What's a horned snail?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But these two shaman basically turn themselves into giant animals.
Right.
Which the skinwalker stuff.
Yeah.
We talk about turning into animals and stuff like that. At this, yeah, so that's the story. So to this day, though, there are still massive serpents seen. And it depends on who you ask whether it's actually the serpent or the giant snail.
So which one actually won? Interesting. Like, oh, man.
So there's two main legends. But yeah, you can still, this is state parks there and all that stuff that people visit. It's a fishing destination. It's all that.
So
Poco Moonshine Lake.
Going down, yeah, we went from Louisiana all the way up to Maine in this episode.
But yeah, so this has been, what, part 5?
Yeah, it has been.
So thank you guys. Hope you guys are still enjoying this hodgepodge season finale of local legends from all over. Anything else to add before we cut it?
I could use some lobster with maybe sprinkle some flavors of forest dust on it.
The lion's mane. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Lion's mane flavors of forest. It's a newer flavor.
My personal favorite.
Oh, it's so good. I just ate some yesterday, as a matter of fact, on a steak.
I ate it on pork chops.
It's so good. Lion's mane flavors of forest. Get you some at flavorsforest.com/corn.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you for listening to Cryptids the Corn podcast. Remember, the best way to support the show is share it with a friend. But if you are craving more of the J clones
and more from Mr. E,
there's always extra content on Patreon
and our paid member space on cryptidsofthecorn.com.
We'll catch you next time with more exciting, fun, and informative information. Bye.